Hello everyone, this is Jackie Williams. In this video I want to share with you a project with the beautiful gallery suite. This is a gorgeous suite in the brand new Stampin' Up! Catalog with lots of possibilities. It has so many products in it. So first we have, actually we'll start with this one, with the beautiful motif stamp set, which pairs with this set of dies. These two here cut like, standard dies, how you come to expect, but these three are a little bit different. They're what I would call pop-up dies, where they only sort of partially cut. So they give a subtle detail or allow you to tuck something underneath. Then we have the gallery blooms, and this one has a large die set that goes with it. Of course, the dies that go around the images, a few standalone images, and this beautiful frame die. Now this frame die, when you cut it out, I have this here, you could end up with potentially 4 pieces. You have these 2 frames, which are these 2 middle-sized pieces, and then that middle piece. But then if you cut it out on a rectangle that's the same proportions, then you also have the outer piece as well. So that one is quite useful, I think, particularly in scrapbooking, but we're going to use it today on a card project. And then we have the damask embossing folder, the basic beige linen ribbon, and oh, I love these, my personal favorite, the pressed flower motifs embellishments. And these feel quite heavy in the hand. They are quite solid, or like quite substantial embellishments. And then of course we have these beautiful papers. Now, not all of the prints are here in my hand. Some of them I used for a large card class that I did recently, and my next lot of papers hasn't yet quite arrived. Let's start with our first project. Now, I used my card sketchbook, the Design Spark. Let's find, and I used, actually just started with sketch number 1, and so I have used this template. And I think for this sample in this video, we'll use the horizontal version. And you'll see that the sketches come with all the measurements and things. So, and it's got 30 sketches in there. And the link for this is in the video description. But it's a really great starting place when you are deciding what you're going to make. So I used that card sketch, but then was also inspired by some of the samples that are right in the catalog. So just doing kind of a hybrid of some various ideas. I have a card base of cloud cover, and then a card front also with cloud cover, and I want to emboss that with that damask embossing folder. But I want to just share with you a couple of easy little techniques that just step it up a little. I'm going to use my Versamark ink pad, and on the side of the folder that has the black label, I'm just going to pat some of that Versamark. You could drag it, but I don't want to tear my ink pad. And I'm going to run it through this way because I'm going to do the horizontal version. Okay, so that takes a minute to make a difference, but there you can see that there is a color difference between the background and the foreground. So the ink actually went down into the background. And as it dries, it will become a little bit darker. And also, I have a little Stampin' Spot where I've put white ink. This is just a little beat up because I used this in a scrapbooking class and lots of people used it, so it's been around the block. But I'm just gonna add a light layer of white. Now, these little Stampin' Spots are a great and easy way to add color like that, and now you can really see some color difference here in the video. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put that onto the card front. And I think for this version, I'm just going to put it on straight. And then I'm going to use that smaller frame from the beautiful gallery dies. And let's decide how we're going to put it for this orientation. Maybe like this. And I'm going to just crinkle that up a little bit in my hand and then smooth it back out. It just gives it a bit of texture like this. And the good news is adding that texture is absolutely free. Everyone has the tools to do that. Now I'm putting a bit of tape on the right hand side, and because what I'm going to do is add a little bit of a ribbon detail. I'm not sure why, but just doing a bow on this card just wasn't really working for me, so I went with this. So what I'm doing is I'm just leaving one tail showing, and then just doing a few little pleats, and then leaving the other tail hanging off the end. And if those maybe are a little bit long, I might shorten those up. You could do a few more pleats if you wanted to. And then I found tape was best to put this down. Glue doesn't always work that well on top of pieces that have been embossed. Maybe I'll just put that on like this. We'll see how this looks. All right, then next we need to color our flower, and I have heat embossed that with black. So you can see it's a little bit shiny, and I've done it right on top of watercolor paper. So now we just need to color our flower. So what I'm going to do is put just a drop of, or actually that was 2 of Melon Mambo in the water. And then I've already done it, but over here I've used a drop of Old Olive and a drop of Smoky Slate. So I have this color, but I have graded up a bit, which helps kind of tone in with this vintage feel. Now another tip is just get it wet before you start coloring. Doesn't need to be really wet. In fact, that might be a little bit too wet, but always have a little tissue on hand. And then give this a stir to start adding some color. Now I like to sometimes go ahead and dab up what I've done, so it's quite light, and then go back, just add some darker detail. I'm going to take that to the heat tool to dry it. And then we'll do the same things with the leaves. I'm just going to get those wet a little bit. And then pick up some of this Old Olive and Smoky Slate combination. And I'm not being too fussy. I actually prefer watercoloring where there's just a little bit of white space left, so it looks quite hand done. And next we will just die cut this out with the included dies. This is a good one. I like it when they cut out in between the flowers like that. Okay, I think the pink looks quite striking next to that cloud cover. And this is Secret Sea. I don't think I said that. And we'll just put a few dimensionals on the back of here. These mini dimensionals are quite handy. Okay, then we can just put that where we think looks best. I think it looks best a little bit on a lean like this is. Okay, then for our words, I struggled with what looked good, and I ended up choosing to stamp the words on one of the designer series papers. Just so there was a bit of color difference, but it wasn't too intense either. So I went ahead and heat embossed that with black, so it, you know, matched what the flowers were. And then I've die cut that with this bundle, sorry, is called More Messages. And we've had something like this in the past, and these are just my favorite. I just love this whole idea. So it's one stamp that stamps all of those at one time. Then there is a die that cuts, this is a little bit of a different size than the actual stamp, but you get the idea. It cuts them all out at once. So it's super easy and quick. And so what I did was actually just used this die to cut out this. So you can use that, you know, as individuals as well. It's quite handy that way. And we'll just tuck that in. I quite like it there. And then we'll use our pressed flowers gems. And there you go. That's a pretty quick card to do. using the beautiful gallery and also the Design Spark sketchbook because it includes all the measurements. So you just have to follow the template and then adjust. But now I have another sample to share with you. This one is obviously the vertical orientation, and I've used cherry cobbler here. This one is melon mambo. Slight difference, but hopefully you can see that in the video. And which one do you like? I quite like them both, to be honest. Now I have a few other samples to share with you. Most of these use the papers, so I wanted to do a sample that didn't focus on the papers so much. So this is another example of using the card sketchbook Design Spark. This was sketch number 4, and then just using the papers. But you see, especially these picture papers, they're great to just add a sentiment and some embellishments and done, but you can also make them that little bit more interesting by just cutting them apart. And then this one is a similar design, just done in the square style. Okay, so those are a really great way to use your papers. And this one, I have a reel out, so you may have seen this one. This is a crisscross card, and then inside we have a card that tucks into the little pocket. And that's using the papers and then also those beautiful dies included in the beautiful gallery. Now this one uses the beautiful butterflies, but just wanted to show you how I use that same floral image just as a background. So it's a nice way to use it as well. And here's another variation of that second card I shared with you, this time using those sailboats, also in a square card style. And this beautiful one features a good background technique, and then those dies from the beautiful motifs die set that's part of this suite. So it's another way to use it in a completely different color combination. And this project uses that beautiful fern, and again the cloud cover and the secret sea, which is a favorite combination and actually works quite beautifully with these particular papers. And I've used that damask embossing folder in behind. And then this project I just recently blogged on my blog. So I've used largely the sunrise sailing dies for this, but I have used the beautiful gallery papers here for the water, or the mosaic tile technique down here at the bottom. And I just love the nice vintage look it gives. And I've also used the beautiful gallery papers for those sails on the sailboats. And then just a couple of slimline versions using those beautiful papers. Now there's also a link in the video description for a 12 project video tutorial class featuring the beautiful gallery suite. So if you would like even more projects and ideas complete with measurements and a step-by-step video, please check out that link. It's ready for immediate download so you can start creating today. Thank you so much for joining me, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you love this suite as much as I do. Please leave me a comment, and of course, subscribe. This is Jackie Williams, and I'll see you next video. Bye-bye.